In this video, I'm going to show you step-by-step directions on how you can make this beautiful bow using 3 ribbons all at the same time with our easy bow maker. Let's get started. This is one of my favorite bows, and I don't know why I don't make it more, but it's super fun and it makes a different kind of bow. So as you can see on my table, we use the same tools that we would for any bow, right? So I'm going to use the Easy Bow Maker. I'm going to use either pipe cleaners, zip tie, or maybe you're the person that uses Floral Wire. There is no wrong answer here. So any of these tools to use to finish off your bow. And then as you can see over here on the left, I have 3 ribbons. 3 ribbons. That's it. Okay. So with this, as I said, I'm just going to use the Easy Bow Maker and I'm going to use 3 ribbons. Your ribbon choices, yay, Vanessa. Your ribbon choices are up to you. But I do want to point out that one of the ribbons I'm going to be using is a satin ribbon. How many of you steer clear of a satin ribbon? Don't. Satin ribbon actually enables us to have some print on ribbon that we may not be able to get on like a royal burlap or other textures. So there is a method that is very simple to use with your satin ribbon. So I'm sure excited to share that with you as well. Now, for this method that I'm going to show you, you can use 2 2.5s and 1 1.5. We're only going to be using 3 ribbons. So you can use 2 2.5s or 1 2.5 and 2 1.5s. But I don't recommend for this one 3 2.5s. That's an ixnay. I prefer, it doesn't come out super well with 3 2.5-inch ribbons. So that's my recommendation. So as I said, I've got 3 ribbons over here on spools. Let's talk about that. So this spool holder was custom made for me, and I actually messaged her before we went live and she hasn't responded. Her husband made this for me. She's in my business coaching group, and God love her. It says Festive Creations by Stephanie. It's in purple, but it has 3 spool holders on it. I love that. So happy. So I have lined up my ribbon in the order that it's going to go on the bow maker. So I don't even need the spool holder on the Easy Bow Maker right now. I'm using all 3 of these. If you don't have this, it's still doable. You just might be chasing ribbon. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure you all have chased a roll of ribbon before. So the 2.5-inch is going to go on the bottom. So I have it on this first spool. Then I have the color that I wanted in the middle, on the middle spool. And then I have the color that I want on top on the last spool. It's that simple. And you can always check if you like the way, I have this just in case I run out of that ribbon down there. You can check this by just simply laying out your ribbon in the order that you have it. So my 2.5, my 1.5 is my middle color. And I'm going to take my satin ribbon, which is also a 1.5, and I'm going to put that on top. So when you lay it out in the order that you have it off to the side, is that what you intended to do? If the 2.5's on top, then stop, reverse, and just switch those around. All right, so to start this bow, I'm taking my time because I truly am making this into a tutorial. So I'm going to go step by step. It's like bow making for dummies or newbies or somebody that just wants to learn something new, right? All right, so I'm going to stack these on top of each other. The tail can be as long as you want. If you want this tail to be 8 inches, if you want it to be 12, 24, 36, it doesn't matter. If you want it to be a short tail, then I would bring this back to about 6 inches. If you don't want any tails at all, if you just want the tails to be just as large as your bow. So I'm going to start, actually this one's going to have 6-inch tails. So I've lined it up with the 6-inch mark on the Easy Bow Maker, and I'm going to pinch this together, and I'm going to give it a good twist. I don't always dovetail my ends to begin with. I can do that afterwards. I'm doing all 3 ribbon at the same time. So much fun. All right, so right now, this ribbon is facing the ugly side up, which is where I want it to be, and I'm going to create my loop, and I'm going to create the loop at the 6-inch mark. So right here, where it's lined up with the pegs, I'm going to pinch that. And sometimes it's easier for me to just lay it down to pinch it, especially if you've got a ribbon that's kind of thicker. And this red one with the paw print is like a velvet finish. And I'm going to twist that. Boom. Now I have a 6-inch loop over here. I'm going to repeat that process on the other side and bring another loop over here. Now remember, we're working with 3 ribbons all at the same time. Pinch, twist, and boom. Now we have 6-inch loops over here, 6-inch loops over here. The next one is going to be 5 inches. So I'm going to bring all 3 rolls of ribbon, all 3 strands of ribbon, and I'm going to come in about 1 inch. So it's going to be 6, the bottom one's 6, this one's going to be about 5 inches. Find my center, pinch, twist, down. Well, twist the right way, Stephanie. There is a right way and a wrong way. So that the ugly side is showing here. Repeat that over here, 5 inches. And honestly, I'm kind of guessing about 1 inch in. And there isn't anybody that's going to be out there with the tape measure to see if it's exactly 1 inch or if it's 1 inch and 1/8 or whatever. The next one is going to be 4 inches. So we're going to bring it in another inch off of this one. Find our center mark here. Pinch, twist, and push that. So see how this is nice and layered right here? Beautiful layers, beautiful. We're going to repeat that on this side. And this time I'm not going to twist because this is my last loop. So I'm just going to give it a nice good pleat right there. And again, you can see kind of like the waterfall effect here. If you're not sure if they're the same size, you can actually hold them up next to each other and see if they are the same height. Once you have 6 inches, 5 inches, 4 inches, we're going to trim this off. We are done with the ribbon. And I'm going to bring this out to about the 6-inch mark and trim that off. Now, the next part is up to you. Because there is a lot of ribbon in here, sometimes a zip tie is good. So remember I said this red ribbon is super, it's a little bit thicker than most ribbon I work with. So it makes the bow a little bulkier. When I think I'm going to have trouble squeezing it all together, I will go to a zip tie. So this time I'm going to use a zip tie. I'm not worried about it showing, and I'll show you why in the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that up a little because I have it pushed down in there really well. My pegs on my Easy Bow Maker are nice and tight. And I'm going to slide that zip tie around here and just barely start it. I'm not going to tighten it down yet, but I want to put that on there so that if I lift this off, it doesn't fling everywhere, right? Hey, cuz, how's it doing? All right, so I'm going to turn the zip tie around so that the crimped part, I don't even know what you want to call that, is on the back side. But before I tighten it, I need to insert either a pipe cleaner or floral wire so that I can attach it to whatever. If I'm attaching it to a wreath or a lantern or a lamppost, I need something before I tighten that zip tie down. So now I can zip tie it down and I can make it as tight as I possibly can using the zip tie. Ooh, yes. Yes. All right. I'm going to scoot that back a little bit. No, that one's actually okay. My ribbon shifted just a smidge, so I want to stack that kind of back on top of itself. All right, now we look like we have a little bow tie going on here. Once I make sure all of my ribbon is laying the way I want to, I can now finish tightening that zip tie. I'm just going to take my wire cutters and snip that extra piece of the zip tie off. Now comes the fun part. So my tails on this bow, I do my tails opposite of each other. And because I use the zip tie, this sucker is tight. I can pull, I can tug. It's not going to come apart on me. And I literally am going to pull on it. And I'm going to start fluffing out this bow. Before I do, you know what? Let's go ahead and dovetail these so while they're all together. And let's do the other side. Hopefully you guys have some great plans for the weekend that include indoors, right? Because ladies and gentlemen, it is cold. It is, Mother Nature has said winter is here. Okay, so I'm spreading out the tails that way, and then I'm going to do the same thing opposite way. Spread those out. Now for this one, I like to start on the bottom. So that 6-inch layer, I'm going to bring these out, and I'm going to start spreading them out. As I spread, I kind of twist the ribbon, and it helps give it a little more volume. So I go to the opposite side. See where my red is here? I want my red to be opposite now for this side. I'm always looking at what's across. So for this one, I want that gold, or excuse me, that glittered gingham check. And then my paw print is across from each other. So paw print, paw print. Going up another layer, I'm going to twist and pull, bring out that bow. Give it a little twist. Go opposite. Twist, twist, twist. That twist kind of helps keep it from bulking up there in the middle. And that's on any bow at all. If you've got it tight, you can give it that little twist. Then I'm going to do the top layer. Give it a little twist. See how I'm kind of just pulling it apart. And it may look like a hot mess right now, but it is not, trust me. All right, so now I have them kind of all spread apart. And now I'm just gonna go back. It does help when you're working with a bow. If you are new to bow making, I will tell you, anchoring your bow to an object helps tremendously. Having some weight to it, even if you tie it to like a grapevine or some kind of weighted object, so that it's not moving around on you. And the Easy Bow Maker is not super heavy. So guess what? Anything with weight on it, right? Tie it to something, and it's a game changer. So if I twist tie that to that handle, now it's not going to move around on me. And now I can get in there and I can move this and manipulate my tails, my loops. And look at how fun that looks already. I'm telling you, I love the 3-ribbon bows. Now, this is not real practical putting it on your stem cutter because you can't really move it around, but we'll adapt. Having it on something heavy is key. And of course, as we are stretching out this bow and moving the loops around, we don't want to cover up the loop underneath. So we look at what's behind it. We want that red to peep through. We want the paw prints to peep through. And that zip tie that I used in the center is nowhere to be found. You cannot see it. Can you? Even if you tried, you cannot see it. I could sit here every time I could sit here and fluff all day long, but look how awesome that bow turned out. Let's just lay it out on the table. And that's a 3-ribbon bow doing all 3 ribbons at the same time. How fun is that? And this one needs a little bit better twist. And we used a satin ribbon in here. What? You can do that with satin? Because the satin is not the star of the show, so to speak. Our other ribbon, mixing in a satin with other textures of ribbon, it actually works out really well. It's when you try to do an all satin ribbon or an all satin bow that it really becomes a pain in the tushy. So don't be afraid to use a satin. Don't be afraid to take 3 ribbons at the same time and make your bow, because it gives you a whole new look, right? All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon.